It's been 8 long years. He was lonely and yearned for companionship. He was tall, dark, and handsome, an impeccable specimen of his species. He longed for love. Then one day, 8 years later, she came into his life. It was love at first sight. She was beautiful and fair, slender, sensual. The curves on her appealed to his innermost being. He knew that they were both cut from the same blade. He could not resist. With nerves of steel, he asked her to be his lifelong partner, and she said, yes. Hello YouTube, and I'm back, this time with a lingering question. Is the Ranger Damast Limited Edition by Victorinox worth it? I will give you 5 reasons at the end of this video on why I think it's worth every cent. Yes, it's pricey. It has its own quirks since it's largely based off existing models. However, the Damascus Steel Limited Edition runs by Victorinox, which they term Damas, short for Damascus Steel, is a beautiful work of art, which meets an already robust and quality product. Would die-hard users actually use it, or would all these limited edition Swiss Army knives be kept merely in their boxes to be preserved as collections? What do you think? Let me know in the comment section. Let's start with this exquisite piece from 2015. It's the Ranger Wood 68 done as a Damas limited edition. For those perhaps uninformed, Damascus steel refers to the forged steel of the blades of swords originally smithed in the Near East from ingots of wood's steel, either imported from southern India or made in production centers there, Sri Lanka, or in Khorasan, Iran. The terms Damascus steel and Damascene steel were coined by the Islamic scholars Al-Biruni and Al-Kindi. Damascus blades were first manufactured in southern India, and then the Arabs introduced the steel to Damascus, where a weapons industry thrived. This modern Damascus is made from several types of steel and iron slices welded together to form a billet, and currently the term Damascus, although technically incorrect, is widely accepted to describe modern pattern welded steel blades. Back to the 2015 Ranger 68. It's a 2-layer 130mm Ranger, part of Victorinox's Delamon collection, and is a carryover from the Wenger Ranger 68. It has lovely open grain and unfinished walnut wood scales. I think it's considered sustainable wood. It has a button lock release disguised as the shield in contrasting polish and brushed steel. Unlike the red and white, which is customary to the Ranger 130mm series. The first layer consists of the standard can opener with screwdriver tip and the bottle cap lifter with flathead screwdriver, wire bender, wire stripper, and like all 130mm Ranger series, it locks in as you push it down, making it an awesome pry bar. Not that I'm going to pry anything with this work of art. On the back, you have the standard awl or reamer with sewing needle that you commonly find on a 91mm Swiss Army knife, which is a sure win for those that find this tool useful. And also the 5-turn corkscrew that is common to all Ranger models. Now, in the not too distant past, when Wenger Rangers were 120mm, those corkscrews were somewhat curved to fit handle ergonomics. Imprinted on the liners behind the corkscrew is the year of production of this limited edition Damas run, and the serial number of this particular one over the total number produced. So this particular piece is number 2313 of 5,000 pieces manufactured. The main feature is naturally the Damas blade. It is considered a 2-hand opening knife and has a nail nick, unlike some other 1-hand opening Rangers within the Delamon collection. Will Victorinox ever give us some extra Damascus steel for the one-hand opening ring next time? I doubt it when you realize the 2023 limited edition model subscribes to the same sleek looks that I think only this nail nick can accomplish. The entire look and feel changes with the one-hand opening ring. Amazing that after 8 years it's still oozing factory oil from the joints and still snaps beautifully. Obviously sitting in the presentation case has kept the dust and grime off the knife. Moving on, we have the Ranger 55 Damas Limited Edition. Another beauty, done in micarta scales. This is the limited edition for the year 2023. It's fair skin compared to her older partner. She's got the same tool set as the earlier Damas, except that she's now pregnant with a saw. Yes, as a result of their love, our gorgeous lady is now heavily laden with another layer. At 3 layers, she has a wood saw, which differentiates the Ranger 68 from the Ranger 55. We have a Ranger 55 in walnut scales in regular production. So I think putting this Ranger 55 Damas in micarta could be a first for Victorinox and makes all the difference for a limited edition run. Further, there was never a Ranger 68 in walnut wood scales either. So I suppose that's the justification to keep Victorinox customers happy. The Damascus steel pattern of this piece has thinner ripples compared to the previous one. Nonetheless, they're both beautiful in their own right and appeals to the eye but not the wallet. Quality at a price for sure, as Victorinox has exemplified here. Can they sell all 7,000 produced? And would that sale finance the next few runs? I'm quite sure they can accomplish that. Most Damas limited editions are highly sought after by collectors, even if slightly expensive. This Ranger 55 has an interestingly light sand-colored micarta that has a surface texture and look as though it's a very light colored wood. From a distance, one would not immediately apprehend that this Ranger has micarta scales. It has the same opening layers as other 130mm Rangers, and we will look at that now. You have the can opener with screwdriver tip on this side, and on the opposite side, the bottle cap lifter with flathead screwdriver wire stripper and push lock pry bar. In the days of the Wenger Ranger, the only difference would be the can opener, which would be in Wenger form. Then you have the saw, which makes it different from the earlier Ranger. And you have the main blade of the Damascus steel, which differs model to model. Each knife has a different pattern and swirl, as if giving it an identity of its own. So it's not just a few thousand units being produced, but in actual fact, because of the blade pattern and no two blades being equal, each knife is unique. This, in my opinion, is what gives it a higher value as compared to other limited edition runs by Victorinox. And note that I'm not even comparing to blades from other producers or manufacturers, where custom blades of Damascus steel can sometimes fetch a king's ransom. On the back, we find the standard awl or reamer with sewing needle and corkscrew. Like the earlier Damas Limited Edition, we have the serial number of the knife. This is 5055 of 7,000 produced, and the year of the run is engraved on the liner as well. Let's look at the lovebirds together again. What a happy couple they make, so suited for each other. Our dear 2015 piece is now a happy camper. So let's go back to the lingering question. Is the Ranger 55 Damas Limited Edition of 2023 worth it? Well, that would depend on whether you'd like to keep a tool relatively unused and in its box for most of its days, or be using it from time to time. Unless you were disposably rich or Armageddon dawn on the world, I don't think most buyers who bought this limited edition would use them. I could be wrong though. Tell me how wrong I am, but please, do not attach soiled pictures of your Damas, or that would make me cry, shriek, or otherwise faint. I put many of my knives through good use and even abuse, but I doubt these Damas limited edition Rangers would ever see active service under my watch. Some of you may be thinking, that's an awful amount of dollars as capital stuck in these two ranges. On the contrary, I must tell you that I see these knives as a new asset class, as some people would view other collectibles, like expensive Swiss watches, as an investment. The value of such collectibles grows over time, especially when such artifacts are dated in terms of when it was produced and limited in quantity, where they've specified the production run. It only adds to the value of provenance. Now let's come to the reasons of why I think the Damas Limited Edition ranges are worth it. Number one, if you're a collector of knives or Swiss Army knives, then this is a unique keepsake. Number two, if you like looking at alternative yet tangible asset classes and as a measure of stored value for an investment. Number three, if you like beautiful works of art and many people buy expensive pieces to display, then this is definitely one of those display-worthy items. Number four, if you like a piece of history in terms of the Wenger legacy, as slowly but surely we see Victorinox eliminating the Delamont collection steadily, especially when they themselves have competitive lines like the 130mm Hunter Pro and Evoque series. Number five, this Damas Ranger is a reminder that the world has become a universal melting pot of cultures and that we can all live together peacefully in mutual admiration and respect. We see that the Crusader shield has adopted what would be famously known as an Arab blade, and is proof that we can take the best of each other's cultures in the climb to be ultimately more civilized. With that, it's time to wrap up these Damas Limited Edition Ranger 68 wood from 2015 and this Ranger 55 Micarta from 2023 back in their respective presentation boxes for it to age and be passed to the next generation. If you like this video, now's a good time to subscribe. If you subscribe, you'll be in the front row whenever I release new videos. Thanks for taking the time to watch, and do watch my other videos linked right here.